Welcome back to the show, everybody. Glad you could make it today. With me, as always, is Artisan K. And as you'll notice, there's some slight differences, a few changes that may have happened here. We have a black background as usual, but something else is going on here. So we'll let that sit. We're not going to specifically talk about it. It'll probably come out and divulge itself later. But for right now, we're leaving it there just so you can be curious about it and ask later. We have a little bit of different equipment going on, which is great because we've been having some technical issues the last few videos. It's been getting a little ridiculous, a little daunting, but it just kind of goes to show that you need extra help with this kind of stuff. It just can't be a one-man, two-man operation. So we've gotten a camera lady now, so you might hear her pop in once in a while. We might ask her for some input on some things.
A little help
here and there. You throw up a little sign once in a while, a little help. We're drowning over here. Been drowning all morning, so we'll see how this all pans out.
Morning.
For today, we're not going top 10 so much as we are going with just 10. We had this idea that there's a lot of production companies out there that think, oh hey, that was a great cartoon, that was a great show, let's turn that into a live action. Sometimes we agree with this. Most of the time, we don't. So we've created a list of TV shows, cartoons that turned into live action that we thought, hey, there's a good possibility this could be something more later, or it was a good enough as it was, or why did they do that, but then why did they do it so well? So, to kick us off, why don't you go ahead and give us our first one to work with there, and we'll dig right in here.
Well, the wonderful world of Disney has given us so many cartoons, and then they decided to go very live action. So I'm going to start off with one of my favorites.
Sometimes live action-ish.
Well, yeah, so we're going to not go into like the CGI live action in this list, just the mostly live action stuff. So the first one on our list is going to be Alice in Wonderland, and I personally love the original cartoon. I mean, it's not as long as most movies are, so I have to sit there through a marathon. I have to go to the bathroom 15 times during the movie.
Movies these days, I feel like, is just kind of a standard 2 hours, and then it's just going to go ridiculous from there.
So then they remade it with one of my favorite directors and then one of my favorite actors, and for some reason it fell a little flat. Maybe it's because I watched it in 3D. I don't know, but should it have been made? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, why not? Things these days are moving more towards that. We have really good computer graphics, better special effects made a long time ago, so sometimes it is hey, why not? So in this regard, I would say, should it have been done? Yeah. I think it was moving towards that. Did they do it well? I think they stuck to the story a little, or the characters a little bit, but I wouldn't say they did it well because it didn't really translate to a lot of people, and it just kind of fell flat.
And it's not a direct remake, so to speak, and I almost preferred that instead of, let's go, 10 years later. She's going to get engaged. Heck no, I'm going down a rabbit hole.
Right.
That doesn't sound
She's going to have kids. It's going to be her daughter that tumbles down the rabbit hole next, and then you wonder where Alice go. No.
And then we're going to forget that there was ever a sequel to this film.
So was it a good movie overall?
I mean, I've watched it multiple times, and I guess that would kind of make it a good movie.
Yeah, if it's got some rewatchability, sure, why not?
Not as many times as I watched the original, though.
True.
And having that, flashback scene where they show her when she was little, I was like, oh, I want some of that.
Something interesting and fleeting and gone. So overall, not a terrible attempt, but not the best outcome in a lot of ways. So we would probably say it should have been done. Did they do it well? No.
Yeah, they could do better.
Yeah. Which brings us to another iconic cartoon from back in the day, one that we grew up with. Even I think our older brothers were really interested in it too. Transformers.
More than meets the eye.
More than meets the eye. Was it something that should have been moved into a live action?
Probably,
I think anything with good action should be turned into a live action. Why not? Go from cartoon, make that transition. I would say the first one did it pretty well because it was fun, it was entertaining, it was Michael Bay, so big whoosh and rah and explosions, and at least you're entertained the whole time. But so should it have been done? Yes. Did they do it well? I mean, I guess technically really good CGI. There was some entertaining plot points to it. This was before Shia LaBeouf really took a weird turn. So I would say
do it.
Yeah, just do it. And they did it. And I think they did it pretty well. Was it a good movie overall? I'm going to throw it out there and say no. I think that it was a great idea. Was it well executed? Some things, yes, but overall the acting and kind of where it went, where they decided to just keep on expounding and doing more movies and more movies, I think a sequel, one, is okay. If you intended to be a trilogy in the first place, sure. But from that point on, it just kept downgrading, where suddenly it was just Marky Mark, and we were all really confused.
Yeah, first part of the big mistake that they decided to do was putting a mouth and Flames on Optimus Prime,
Yeah.
and then bringing Marky Mark in, and like what is that, the third or fourth? I think it was the third. I didn't really care that they left
Was it
out
third?
Megan Fox. It didn't bother me so much. Replacing her with a model who can't act is probably a bad idea, but
I mean, how is that different from before, though?
ooh,
It's just,
but she's got a funny thumb.
true.
Anyway,
That makes her relatable.
I almost watched Bumblebee because visually it looked more like what I grew up with, but then you replaced Marky Mark with John Cena, so you really didn't up your ante too much.
It's
so.
just more moving laterally, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just kind of go from one Bostonian to another. I
Yeah.
guess. I don't know. So
Yeah.
we'll leave that one up to as kind of the meh.
Yeah, so
But-
it wasn't a really great movie series. I like the slow motion special effects because it actually made you like watch it. Because the first time you watch it, you're going, "Wow, there's a lot of shiny things going
It's so
on."
ADD, I can't keep
Yeah,
up.
but then they started slowing down, things. I was like, "Well, that's kind of cool. Too bad the rest of the story sucks."
Yeah.
But yeah,
So-
not a big fan.
Moving along the list, we have George of the Jungle.
George of the jungle, strong as he can be. Hey, watch out for that tree.
I think what's more iconic about that, maybe not from the fact that George was kind of a doofus, I think was that great drum line.
Yeah.
It's going to stick in your head forever.
I think the biggest issue, should it have been done? Probably not.
No.
Let's just face it. What
Yeah.
was the point of that? It
I
was
don't think it
basically
needed.
mentally challenged Tarzan. Even
Yeah.
though he had a pompadour in the cartoon, he just looked more like the Tarzan from the cartoon version of Tarzan from Disney, and it was like really weird. So I don't know why
Almost
they
like a
went there.
ripoff in this sense. I mean, which one came first?
I mean, for Brendan Fraser's sake,
Yeah.
the movie should have been done because he was in great shape. Good for him.
Mm-hmm.
Then they had that Weasley.
I mean, I guess for a lot of actors, you have your heartthrob movie, and not everybody wants to stay in that great shape. I mean, look at the entire cast of all the Marvel movies right now.
Right.
They're all tired of their diet and their workout and all
Wouldn't
that.
you be?
They looked great in the first movie, but it's interesting how you can see them start to kind of downgrade a little bit after that too. It's just like, okay, we've established these characters as all being buff. You all get it now? Cool. We got a few guys that can take their shirts off once in a while. All right, now don't worry about it, guys. You don't need to work out as much.
Yeah, especially Chris Hemsworth. Did you see? Wait.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Yeah, Chris Hemsworth, sure enjoyed Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, but so it shouldn't have been probably done at all. They already kind of did it with Tarzan.
Mhm.
Did they do it well? I mean, it's really campy. Like the cartoon was campy.
True.
I mean, I think I remember.
There wasn't a whole lot to really live up to, I guess.
I guess I kind of remember the treehouse. I'm a treehouse guy, so it's kind of like the best part of most movies for me is like, oh, that's a treehouse. It's kind
Mhm.
of cool.
They didn't try and rip off the Tarzan's yell. That was
Yeah.
something.
Well,
that
that was
just
his.
didn't
Then he'd
happen.
run into trees. 'Cause,
Yeah.
That's so fun.
That was the gimmick.
That's just so funny.
Yeah. I mean, I really appreciated the really rubbery trees they had in that movie. It was interesting to see him hit those, and it's just, special
his-
effects were a side note to what was going on
His
there.
butler.
And actually, special
Yeah.
mention for Leslie Mann in that one, too. I didn't really realize who that was back then. I didn't know till later on with Judd Apatow films and all the funny stuff that she did, but it's interesting to kind of see her body of work. It's been
Oh,
kind of campy movies up until now, just straight out comedies with some rom-com-ish dark comedies, maybe, I guess. I
is
don't
that
know.
Almost 40 chick? Or whatever?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
okay.
So, yeah. But did they do it well? Again, they didn't have a whole lot to live up to, so I think they did it well. They
For
did
what
pay
it
homage
was.
well, and they kind of hit a few key points to go back to and call back to, so they did that well. But it was
Yeah.
a good movie overall. No. I
I mean, I was a kid when it came out.
Yeah. Yeah, if you keep your expectation down here, you're not going to be disappointed. If you're looking for script writing, good, special effects and all that, it's going to fall flat. But, it has its place, I guess, in some senses. But, again, it just didn't need to happen.
One of the best monkey suits you'll ever see.
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay, so
Monkey suits. So moving along
Moving
to
right along.
more suits here.
yeah, so next on our list is The Grinch. Now, The Grinch, for me, was one of my favorite cartoons and books.
Mhm.
So when I found out one of my favorite actors, Jim Carrey, was going to play The Grinch, I was like, how much makeup are they really going to need to put on this guy? Because he's like, already rubber-faced. He does such a good job of making anything happen with his face.
Willem Dafoe, Green Goblin. Come on, people.
And I became, I've always been a fan of him since like, in Living Color.
Mhm.
So when this movie came out, it was actually a birthday movie of mine because
Oh,
for some
yeah.
reason they decided that Christmas movies need to come out in November.
Hey.
I don't think this makes sense, but
Star Wars movies come out in Christmas. That's,
so I watched it and I really really liked it. I mean, apart from the "Where Are You Christmas" part of this movie, the rest of it's terrific.
that was just that actress's transition into it being in a band. That's just.
Anyway, let's not talk about that. It's
I
pretty.
wouldn't call that even an honorable mention.
That's
Just more
pretty-
like, well, that happened.
That's pretty reckless of you to mention such things.
Is it pretty
you know?
reckless of me?
Yeah.
I guess so.
So, should this movie have been done? I say yes.
Yes.
Here's the weird transition.
Some things in life just do need an
The
update.
story is not very long in the book, and the cartoon version of it was about the same length. They cut out a little bit, or they changed it up a little bit, but it was very much similar to the book.
Mm-hmm.
This one, it was almost like a completely like different. I almost wish they would have cut it back a little bit, some of the stuff, and maybe make it more like the book.
Yeah.
But if I had any
And I
complaints,
guess the times where they did rhyme about something, they did it more to make fun of that as
Well,
opposed
and then
to
they
being
had their-
Dr. Seuss style.
Anthony Hopkins doing the voiceover, which was fine by me. I mean, you can't be Boris Karloff. Let's just say it. You can't be Boris Karloff. But
You
know,
can't all be Boris Karloff.
it worked out really well. So did they do a good job? I think for Ron Howard doing Dr. Seuss flick. And
Visually, they brought me in the world
Yeah.
for sure.
Exactly.
Did a great job with the costumes.
Was it a good movie? I'm gonna say yes still.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I enjoy it still.
Still stands the test of time.
And it probably will show up on another list coming more the Christmas time of year. When
True.
we do another list.
Good
Probably.
enough that it deserves an extra mention.
I imagine so. There's a lot of those probably gonna be double time. Anyway.
Working halfway up our list here, we have Popeye.
Bye.
Popeye, which is just a great cartoon in the first place, because when I was a kid, I automatically thought if I ate my spinach, good grief, I would have some forearms like that too.
Yeah,
I mean,
just the forearms.
it
though.
almost made me think that there might have been something more wrong with him than strong, because that's not usually where the muscle structure goes to. But hey, it's a cartoon. It was fun. It was campy in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Bluto, Olive Oil, all good characters that were entertaining. Sometimes annoying, but when we go to live action side, it's one of those cartoons where you feel like, well, did it need to happen? No, there
Not
was really no
necessarily.
reason for that because it was a cartoon in of itself. Why would you
Yeah.
need to make that into a live action? Until they threw Robin Williams in as Popeye, and then suddenly I'm all on board.
Well, Shelley Duvall as olive oil is like the perfect olive oil as well. And everybody,
Yeah,
I
did
mean,
they draw?
visually,
I mean, was Shelley Duvall alive around that time? Because I almost wondered if Olive Oil was drawn to look like Shelley Duvall.
yeah, it was just so weird to rewatch it later in life because maybe I didn't understand it as much when I was younger, or I didn't get really a chance to dive in. But watching it now, it's just like, wow, this is like walking into a whole new world. Sea Haven. I love Sea Haven, the way it looked. It was all like mangled and I'm mean.
Good
I'm
set
mean,
design,
I'm
wonderful
mean,
costumes.
You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Just really appreciate it. And so, did they do it well? Yes, of course they did
Absolutely.
it well.
I think they hit all the key points.
Right.
They had a checklist, and they were just as they were going
Visually good, obviously for the characters that they put in to play these characters. The actors did a fine job of portraying them. And was it a good movie? Ultimately, I'm going to say yes.
Yeah.
I still enjoy it.
Not going to rank up on my top 10 list by any means, but something I'd watch again.
Not about that.
Yeah.
Not about that.
Not about that.
It's the bar is pretty low here, people.
Mm-hmm.
The bar is pretty low.
Whoa!
So, we're halfway there, and G.I. Joe, Real American Hero,
Yep.
is on this list, and I must say, this is one
Public
of
service announcements galore.
this is one of the biggest disappointments on my list.
Mm-hmm.
Not just
I say we've had some pretty decent and good things to say about all of these up until this point, but this is where the list just starts to drop off.
That's not
for
true.
us.
I mean, there's a couple of
There's still a
decent
couple worthwhile mentions ahead of here, but I would say this is the first one that really sticks with me as just the ugh.
And it's not just the Channing Tatum. I mean, I never liked Duke to begin with. So if you would have had Channing Tatum as Duke, it wouldn't have bothered me so much. As long as you actually had other characters I gave a crap about. Who cares about Ripcord? I mean,
And honestly,
Scarlett's
this isn't
okay,
something that was a really
but-
big part of my childhood. I watched a lot of it because my older brother was into it, but I don't even remember all the character names. So
there's so many of them.
there's quite a few of them.
I had
but I mean, we
figures.
didn't, yeah.
Figures. And
We
all
didn't
the
have Shipwreck in there. That's all
no,
I knew.
no
but-
shipwreck. No, I believe I knew your mother's son. None of that. It didn't happen. And they didn't have Roblox until the sequel, which was like, let's just clean slate it and try to make a decent movie.
That was a very strange transition, where it's like they realized that they went completely off script for as far as G.I. Joe is concerned with that whole movie. What the heck was up with the mech suits? I mean, one of the biggest glaring issues for me on that. And then suddenly the second movie's just like, oh, whoops, sorry guys, just kidding, wipe the slate clean. Let's throw in The Rock. You'll like him more, won't you? We'll go ahead and kill off Channing Tatum, and then we'll kind of just redo it from here.
And The Rock was a fine choice for Roblox. I think if you would have started off fresh again, might have been a better thing. So, should it have been done? Yes, of course it should have been made.
Yes.
I've been wanting this movie forever.
Would have been a great one. Doesn't need a ton of special effects. Doesn't need a ton of
Sure, it's
CGI for it. You just
don't even
action
need-
movie it out. Why
You don't
not?
need laser guns like in the cartoon.
Nope.
But all I needed was a plethora of characters that are all characters and interesting. And I needed war. And I needed a lot of cool gadgets and,
Need to
not
call
mech
in the
suits.
G.I. Joes to come in there and kick butt.
Yeah, I wanted ships and boats and where's the
Could have
aircraft
had more-
carrier?
Yeah, could have more vehicles to
on!
go along with it. These people had a ridiculous budget for whatever.
Did they do it
whoever
well?
they're working for.
Did they do it well? No.
No. They really took a lot of their own ideas, what they should have thought it should have been, and they just kind of really jumped in a bunch of different directions that just kind of left me going, why?
I mean, as much as I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt, he
Yeah.
is no Cobra Commander.
No, I'm sorry, dude. It just wasn't a good choice.
No. And
Yeah.
was it a good movie? Heck no. It was.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, not going to give you any love on that one. I
Horrible.
just wasn't entertained. I was more annoyed the entire time.
I mean, even giving like Snake Eyes a mouth wasn't like the worst choice you had, because Ray Park was your best choice.
Oh, yeah,
Ray Park was the
absolutely.
best thing you did. I mean, the guy that played Storm Shadow wasn't bad either.
Mhm.
If they just made a Snake Eyes Storm Shadow movie, that would have been probably a much better option. But anyway,
Honorable mention for Ray Park being the best choice for that character, but unfortunately being in a movie that fell flat, kind of like The Phantom Menace. Just fantastic as Darth Maul, but the whole movie overall, I mean, I only appreciate it now thanks to the sequels, but it wasn't really, it was just unfortunate to see him get these great roles in movies that kind of leave you going, meh.
yeah, poor guy, all his acrobatics.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, this
Yeah.
next one on the list is an interesting.
It's an
conundrum.
interesting one for us because so many good things about it with a lot of why. The Flintstones.
Yeah.
Entertaining cartoon back in the day, and we've talked about this before. It's was it Honeymooners?
Yeah,
basically Honeymooners.
Basically, Honeymooners in the Stone Age. And
Yeah.
so the fact that they make a live action version of it, which should have been done, probably not.
Mhm.
Did they do a good job? Yes. I think.
Yeah, I mean, really, they did a good job with the sets. They made everybody look
Yeah.
correct. They definitely had the campiness in there. There was
Yeah.
the unrealisticness of sliding down dinosaur tails and driving your car with your feet and all that. You know, the scene where John Goodman throws his flip on the tail and says, "Sorry guys, picked up on a nail on the way to work." That's pretty entertaining
There's
stuff.
a lot of great stuff about it. I mean, I enjoyed it
Halle
as a kid.
Berry.
Oh,
Why?
Halle Berry was the
Why?
best.
But why not? I guess you know. But I mean, overall, yeah. But to yabba dabba do or yabba dabba don't, I would say it didn't need to happen.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. There was no reason for it.
Not
Did they do a
necessarily.
good job and do it well? Absolutely. I
Yeah.
think it was. You know, it was a period piece. They did it correct.
Yeah.
But was it a good movie?
Good casting, all around. Was it a good movie? It was when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And
Entertaining
there's
as a kid.
part of me that still watches it now when it's on, just because. And I think there is some humor probably I missed.
Mm-hmm.
Rosie O'Donnell as Barney's wife. I can't even think of her name.
Yeah. There's Wilma, and then there's
Betty.
Betty. Yeah.
Betty.
Thanks,
Is it
camera
Betty?
lady.
I was gonna say Betty, but then I had a brain fart.
Mhm.
I was just gonna say, yeah, she did a pretty good job as his wife, and all around casting of that movie was solid.
Yeah.
Didn't really have any issues.
In some ways, I guess you could say it's something we didn't know we needed. you know?
Yeah, at that time, I had other ideas, and we're gonna make a video about those ideas a
Mhm,
little later.
Much more good things to come.
Anyway, next on our list is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Here on the
Turtle Power.
So, it was a comic book at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Very kind of black and white and quiet and weird and strange. And I knew
Kinda
of
off
it.
the wall. Yeah.
I knew of it, and then it became this crazy cartoon that we loved.
Yeah.
And-
Really enjoyed the cartoon. Had lots of great vehicles. I
Very
think that's what got
colorful.
me into one to
Colorful
collect the
characters.
figurines, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
had a decent collection for a while.
We
there.
all did.
Yeah. Leonardo was my personal favorite, but I was definitely more of the brainiac engineering type back then, so we really struck chord with that.
Would have been more
As,
Donatello. He was.
Yeah, as entertaining as Michelangelo was, because he is the party dude.
Yeah.
But it didn't really struck chord with me. So I think a lot of people when they heard that were like, "Really? Why? I don't know."
I was a Raphael kind of guy. I don't know. He lost his sigh, and
Yeah.
and damn.
Yeah, he was the swearing. He was the angsty teenager of the group for sure.
But he was
Yeah.
pretty entertaining.
I mean, I think if they could have added hair onto him, he probably would have been doing this a good portion of the time.
And that's probably why I liked him,
Mm-hmm.
because I had hair once.
Yeah.
But
So should they have done it? Yes.
Of course.
I think it was great. I think it was really cool that you could actually have it be full live action. So did they need to do the first one? Absolutely, and I'm glad they did.
Should they continue doing
Should
them?
they have continued them?
Apparently not.
Second one had some entertaining aspects to it.
Go Ninja.
Third
go
one
ninja.
just dropped completely off the face of the earth for me and just said, why? And, you kind of had Casey Jones in there, but he was so obscure they didn't even
He was in the third one?
He was in the third one, yeah. He was
So
the
glad I
actor
didn't
that
watch
was
that.
actually playing
I
him. But he
love
wasn't
that
Casey
Casey.
Jones, but he was back in time in ancient Japan when they actually had him there. So it was just weird and why. And then you move out to the whatever it is now with Megan Fox and some funny
That didn't
guys
happen.
and all that.
That
it was,
didn't happen.
yeah, as far as we're concerned, we just kind of omit that from our memory because
Never happened.
it wasn't live action. Because every time you'd see a turtle, the entire time it was all CGI. So I
Yeah.
couldn't really. I mean,
CGI
there's
is not
real
live.
people in it, but that's another video for a different time too. Because where do you draw the line at live action? Is the entire movie all CGI? Not live action. Sorry, Jungle Book and Lion King, and
Yeah.
just that's not live action.
So-
But when you have live people with the CGI main characters, I guess that kind of bridges the gap there a little bit, so we can hand that to them. But overall, good movie the first time, no good past that.
Yeah, but did they do a good job making this? Of course, they did a good job. They did it very well.
Mm-hmm.
And was it a good movie, the original? We're talking about the original?
Yeah, the
Yes.
original?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've watched it recently. I can still enjoy it. So.
I appreciate Donatello now thanks to Corey Feldman.
Corey Feldman. I don't necessarily care about him as a person. I mean, his career was.
All I gotta say is poor guy.
Poor guy.
Poor
Poor any guy or girl who
In
had to
Hollywood.
be an actor or actress as a child.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Have better parents, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
That's not your fault, but I'm saying.
Maybe they didn't all know just how terrible Hollywood was at that point. I don't know, but yeah.
Anyway, so
Worth the mention
next,
there.
second to last on our list, or
Yeah.
second to.
We're moving up to probably the best one we have
Woo!
out of all this for
Ow!
sure. But
we watched this together in the theater.
yeah. This one in particular, it was great when you walk into the theater and think, oh, okay, because I don't know if it was actual opening night, but I think it was opening weekend at
Something
least.
like
So
that.
at least it had one night. Then we went there on, it was a Friday night. Then we went there on a Saturday night. But we walked in not knowing what to expect, but we walk into an empty theater to sit down for the movie. That was our first sign. Then when there was only one other person who came in and sat down like a few seats away from us, probably thinking there's going to be more people filing in at some point, we were like going, all right, let's see what happens here.
Mhm.
So the three of us sat down and enjoyed ourselves picking this movie apart and really not paying attention to it the entire time, just making fun of it. And our new friend over there really enjoyed our commentary on it because I think we realized that we weren't about to be entertained by this movie.
So this was an anime that we enjoyed in high school called
Mhm.
Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball. And I think he went into Dragon Ball GT and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
And
It was
they
so
made-
over the top in so many ways,
Yeah.
took so many episodes to build up to somebody finally shooting a stinking fireball that it almost annoyed you, but yet it had so much other campy funniness and awesomeness that it just kind of made an interesting mixture of, well, I don't know, but I want to see the next one.
But then they made a movie, a live action called Dragon Ball, and it was very American.
Very American. I would say it was very loosely based on Dragon Ball. Loosely.
Loose.
They tried to bring in some elements, and it ultimately left us just going, this is hilarious how bad it is.
I mean, talking about, yeah, I don't know if it's low budget or not, really, because they had some interesting actors in it that are like, okay, well, we had to spend some money on that person. So
Mhm.
maybe that's where all the money went.
Yeah.
All right, should it have been done? Yes.
Yes.
It should have been done because it would have been
We
really
wanted this
cool
to
if it was
happen.
done correctly.
Mm-hmm.
That's why
I
we
think
went.
ultimately they just needed a bigger budget. I
Yeah.
think they were kind of testing the waters with it, thinking, oh, okay, we can give them a little something and see if it blows up from here. But as most movies that you come to find, you can't do that. You got to go all in and sink or sail with
Well,
it.
when they had Tom Cruise's son from War of the Worlds playing Goku, that should have been my first clue.
Yeah.
But yeah, did they do it well? Oh, horrible.
Yeah,
So,
no,
obviously
not even visually. It was bad. It was
everything-
bad all across the
everything
board.
was
So
wrong.
yeah. So ultimately, was it a good movie?
Heck
no.
No, we won't go watch it again.
Yeah,
But
and I can't think of anybody I've ever talked to that said, "Oh, that was a good movie. I liked it."
really hope that a lot of the movies that we're complaining about, they decide to remake and do a better job with. But a lot of times when they do that, it doesn't really turn out too good.
Some of them, I think specifically this one, leave it alone. If
Yeah.
you're going to try it again, go for Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT. You don't really need
Yeah.
to go that far back with it because honestly, Dragon Ball was probably not the best part of that.
It was very
series.
kiddie friendly,
Mhm.
even though it really didn't. He wasn't really Dragon Ball in that movie either.
Exactly.
It was more Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Just an interesting, long, drawn-out build-up. So,
Our
moving
last-
to the best topic of this whole conversation, and I think it was a big part of our kids, our growing up, our childhood.
Yeah.
I really liked this TV show, this cartoon, this
And the
series,
comic book.
and the comic book. We're talking, of course, about X-Men.
yeah.
Good stuff, really well written. Followed the comic very well, delve into a lot of the very interesting characters, especially Wolverine. He was especially 5'3" the whole time.
Correct.
You know, it was very correct. And I have a hard time with this in certain movies because people talk about how, well, you can't copy the comic, you can't copy the cartoon, you can't do exactly. It's like, no, you don't have to do that. But keep the characters and the costumes and the overall world that they're in the same, and you can do completely different stories if you want to. You can go on whatever tangents you want at that point, but just keep it pure as far as that is concerned, and we won't have too much of a problem with it. But
I mean, yes, I was happy when they made it. I gave it a lot of leeway because of like what comic book movies were at the time, you know. So it was like, okay, well, they made it. You know,
it was our
it's nice
first
they
big
made
look
it.
into the possibility of making this
And
live
then
action.
they just never went forward.
No.
They just kept falling backwards on their butt.
Yeah.
I guess.
And from movie one, they didn't care about continuity. Didn't matter. As far as they were concerned, we weren't paying attention. So why bother to make the characters the same across the board? Why try and make the storyline fit up? Why try to worry about hopping in and out of different time periods and not worrying about coming back and wrapping anything up in a correct way? Just leave it all lingering out there, and who cares? Some people might go back and look at it. Most won't.
Yeah, and why use names of comic books that were amazing to make your own bullcrap story is beyond me as well.
Yeah. So, needless to say, we're not fans of the live action, and they've just been kind of shooting themselves in the foot for movie after movie after movie after movie. So, what we like to see, now that Disney's completely in control of all these characters, a full reboot and a redo? Abso-freaking-lutely.
Yeah, that is not one of our questions, but definitely please.
Should it have been done? Absolutely. We've all wanted this. I think a huge fan base wanted it. It should have been done a long time ago.
So many crappy movies came after. That's how much we wanted.
Exactly. So did they do it well? There was aspects. There was definitely moments here and there.
When you have
Kelsey Grammer as the Beast, I'm sorry. Amazing. Just great. Just wonderful.
Not everybody's going to agree with us on that.
Nope.
But I'm telling you, it was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That Nicholas Hoult guy could, I don't know, just not be in movies.
Short walk off a tall cliff.
Yeah, I don't really care. But, yeah, I mean, maybe put some clothes on Mystique, you know? I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't really like about
maybe keep her mystique, because the entire time she talks about not wanting to hide herself and not wanting to change, she wants to be proud of her mutanthood, and then yet never turns back into a mutant for any worthwhile amount of time, because I thought we weren't watching Mystique anymore, we were just watching Jennifer Lawrence.
This is a Jennifer Lawrence problem, all right, folks? And we can have a whole thing about Jennifer Lawrence.
We have a whole video about this.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that right now. I mean...
Yeah, so overall, was it a good movie? I mean, you can't say that across the board about the franchise, but when they went from cartoon to actual live action, it was okay.
Yeah.
It was promising to see what they could do with it and where they could go from there, but from that point on, our hope was dashed against the rocks time and time again. So for that, we're not very appreciative of you, Fox. Sorry, you didn't do a very good job with X-Men in our opinions.
It hurt us, because there's a lot of movies now that people are out there going, they're the greatest. And you're going, did you ever read a comic
Everybody's
book?
allowed to have their own opinion. I get it. But when we're talking about subjective ideas about whether or not it was a good movie, there's a lot of people out there very misinformed.
Well, I understand that you never read the comics, you never watched the cartoon, so you're going to say, this is all I know of X-Men.
If you have nothing to base it off of, then
probably
fine.
great.
We forgive you your ignorance.
Sure, that's fine. Mm-hmm. But I would say, for us, the people who have been with it,
from the beginning to kind of, no. That's a big no.
We're big helpers in why this could happen, and I can shoot myself in the foot for letting it happen, because I really wanted it to happen. Yeah. So much so that it happened so piss poor.
Mm-hmm. So there was a tidbit, a teaser, yet again another window into our minds and perspectives of what they should and shouldn't have done with this genre of going from cartoon to live action. We have more on this subject that we would love to talk about and discuss and divulge. We'll have more videos to come. So in the meantime, we hope you enjoyed our opinions, our perspectives, our thoughts, our rants, raves, and our ignorance. Please forgive us if you feel like we've really missed the mark on some of these. But
we'll fight you in those comments.
Yeah, basically. But we appreciate you stopping in to see us all through to the end. We hope that you actually like us by hitting that button. Maybe you want to subscribe. Maybe you don't. Too. Maybe you want ridiculous notifications on your phone. Maybe you don't. That's up to you. But in the meantime, we appreciate you stopping by, and we'll see you in the next one.
Later.
Look, we got a background now. Don't you like different things?